12 American citizens kidnapped in Mexico, held by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Ransom demand $50 million. The cartel believed Americans were soft targets, easy money. They were wrong. FBI hostage rescue team doesn't negotiate ransoms. They rescue hostages. And when Americans are taken by cartels, federal power responds with overwhelming force. This is Operation Guardian Angel. When cartels take hostages, they sign their own death warrants. Welcome to the most intense hostage rescue operation in FBI HRT history. When American lives are at stake, there are no compromises, only decisive action. The kidnapping happened during spring break. 12 college students from University of Texas, crossing into Mexico for vacation, Matamoros, beach town popular with American tourists. They thought it was safe. Tourist areas usually are. But cartels don't respect boundaries. The students were taken at a checkpoint. Fake police uniforms, weapons drawn. They were forced into vans, driven away. Within hours, they disappeared completely. Their families received demands, $50 million total, wire transfers to offshore accounts, or the students would die. The families contacted FBI immediately. Kidnapping Americans internationally triggers federal jurisdiction. FBI legal attachés in Mexico City mobilized. Mexican federal police were notified. The investigation began within hours of the kidnapping. But this wasn't standard criminal kidnapping. Intelligence quickly identified the perpetrators. Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of Mexico's most violent organizations. They'd branched into kidnapping Americans for ransom, high-value targets, maximum pressure. They believed American families would pay anything. FBI doesn't pay ransoms. Policy is absolute. Paying encourages more kidnappings, creates funding for terrorists and cartels, endangers more Americans. The answer is always the same. Find the hostages, rescue them, punish the kidnappers. Special Agent Thomas Rivera coordinated the response. 20 years in FBI, specialized in international kidnapping cases. He'd led rescue operations in Colombia, Philippines, Afghanistan. But Mexico presented unique challenges. The cartel controlled territory. They had resources. They were extremely violent. JNGC is different, Rivera told his team. They're not interested in safe return. They want money. If we don't pay, they'll kill the hostages to maintain credibility. We have limited time. Days, not weeks. We need to find them fast. 12 Americans kidnapped by cartel, $50 million ransom. Comment if you think HRT can rescue anyone from anywhere. The investigation moved at emergency speed. Mexican federal police provided surveillance footage. The fake checkpoint was identified. The vans were tracked through traffic cameras. They'd headed south, into cartel-controlled territory. FBI technical teams analyzed communications. The cartel had made contact with families using disposable phones. Each call was traced, each signal triangulated. The communications originated from Jalisco State, deep in cartel territory, an area where Mexican government control was minimal. Human intelligence was critical. FBI had sources within Mexican law enforcement, informants who provided information about cartel activities. The word went out. Find the Americans, locate the holding site. Information is worth more than money. Within 48 hours, intelligence pointed to a compound outside Guadalajara. Rural area, fortified location, known cartel safe house. Satellite imagery confirmed unusual activity, increased security, more vehicles. The compound was being used for something important. But confirmation was needed. FBI couldn't raid a location based on speculation. They needed definitive proof the hostages were there. That meant getting eyes on target. In cartel territory, extremely dangerous reconnaissance. Mexican Special Forces volunteered operators, elite units trained by DEA and FBI. They'd worked with American agencies before, trusted, capable. They would conduct surveillance while FBI coordinated. The reconnaissance team observed for 24 hours, confirmed 12 people held in a main building, heavy security, armed guards rotating shifts. The compound was prepared for potential rescue attempts. The cartel wasn't stupid. They knew FBI might try something. Satellite imagery revealed the layout. Main compound with 3 buildings. Perimeter wall 8 feet high. Guard towers at corners. Single vehicle entrance. Approximately 20 armed cartel members on site. The hostages were in the central building. Second floor. Heavily guarded. FBI hostage rescue team was activated. 50 operators deployed to Mexico, working with Mexican federal police and military. This wasn't a unilateral American operation. This was coordinated international law enforcement, with American lives at stake. HRT Commander Sarah Mitchell reviewed the intelligence. This is a hardened target. Professional security. They're expecting rescue attempts. We need overwhelming speed. Hit them so fast they can't react. Can't kill hostages. Can't organize defense. Hit like if you believe FBI HRT is the most elite hostage rescue force in the world. The tactical plan was aggressive. Helicopter insertion. 4 teams hitting simultaneously from different directions. Overwhelm security. Reach hostages before cartel could react. Extract by air. Total operation time, under 10 minutes. Mexican military provided helicopter support. 2 Black Hawks for insertion, 2 for extraction, 1 gunship for fire support if needed. The Mexican government wanted the cartel punished. American hostages rescued. This was full cooperation. The timing was critical. Dawn insertion. Guards would be tired. Visibility improving. Cartel leadership likely off-site. The moment when defenders are slowest and attackers have maximum advantage. Training occurred at a Mexican military base. A compound mock-up was constructed. Teams practiced insertions repeatedly. Room clearing. Hostage identification. Extraction under fire. Every scenario was rehearsed. Medical teams prepared for casualties, both operator injuries and hostage trauma. Ambulances staged, hospitals notified, blood supplies ready. When HRT operates, medical support is comprehensive. The Mexican government kept the operation secret. No leaks, no press, total information security. 1 leak could mean dead hostages and dead operators. The cartel had sources everywhere. Operational security was life or death. The target date was set. 3 days after kidnapping. April 12th, 6 a.m. Every hour increased risk to hostages. The cartel might move them, might kill them if ransom wasn't paid. Speed was essential. Commander Mitchell addressed the combined team the night before. 50 HRT operators, 30 Mexican Special Forces, helicopter crews, medical personnel, over 100 professionals unified under one mission. Tomorrow, we're rescuing 12 Americans from a violent cartel, Mitchell said. These kids made a mistake crossing into dangerous territory. They're our citizens, and we don't abandon Americans. The cartel thinks they can take our people and demand ransom. Tomorrow, we remind them why that's a fatal mistake. At 4 a.m., teams began preparing. Body armor, weapons, communications gear, night vision, breaching equipment, medical supplies, flashbangs. Everything checked and rechecked. No equipment failures allowed. Helicopters launched at 5:30, 40-minute flight to target, flying low, using terrain to mask approach. The cartel had spotters, early warning systems. Surprise depended on speed and stealth. At 6:10, the compound came into view. Lights visible, guards on patrol. Morning shift change happening. Perfect timing, maximum confusion, minimum readiness. 6:15, final approach. Helicopters came in fast. Guard towers spotted them. Too late. Before alarms could sound, operators were rappelling down. Which matters more in hostage rescue? A. Speed. B. Firepower. C. Intelligence? 4 teams hit simultaneously. North, south, east, west. The compound was surrounded in seconds. FBI, federal agents. Guards reached for weapons. Flashbangs detonated. Blinding light. Deafening explosions. Overwhelming confusion. Some guards dropped weapons. Hands up. Smart choice. Others tried to fight. Bad choice. HRT operators don't miss. 3 guards down in the first 30 seconds. Non-lethal, but incapacitated. The rest surrendered. Faced with elite operators in full tactical gear, resistance was suicide. The building breach was textbook. Explosives blew the door. Teams poured in. FBI, where are the hostages? Ground floor secured. No hostages. Team leader keyed his radio. Ground floor clear, moving to second floor. Up the stairs, methodical, checking corners, covering angles, professional room clearing. Another door, another breach. This time, voices inside, crying, shouting in English. FBI, hostages, get down! The hostages were in one large room, 12 students, bound, terrified, 3 guards inside with them. The guards' weapons were aimed at the students. Standoff, one wrong move, and hostages die. HRT snipers had positioned outside, windows covered. When the door breached, they had clear shots. Before the guards could react, precision fire eliminated the threat. 3 shots, 3 down. Hostages screaming, but safe. You're safe! FBI! We're getting you out! Teams cut the bindings, checked for injuries. All 12 alive. Some bruised, some traumatized, but alive. Mission success. Extraction began immediately. Hostages helped to the roof. Helicopters already landing. The entire assault had taken 6 minutes. The compound was secured. Hostages were rescued. 20 cartel members were in custody. By 6:30, the helicopters were airborne. Hostages evacuated. Operators extracted. Medical evaluation began in flight. The students were going home. At the compound, Mexican federal police arrived. Evidence collection. Interrogations. The captured cartel members would face Mexican justice, kidnapping, weapons possession, association with organized crime. They'd spend decades in Mexican prisons. The hostages were flown to U.S. consulate in Guadalajara, debriefed by FBI, medical treatment, psychological evaluation, calls to families. Within hours, they were on flights back to Texas. 3 days after being kidnapped, they were free. If you believe HRT should be deployed for all American hostage situations, type SWAT power. The media coverage was massive. 12 Americans rescued from cartel. FBI and Mexican forces coordination. Textbook hostage rescue. 0 American casualties. The operation was praised globally. The cartel's response was swift. They issued threats, promised retaliation, vowed to kill more Americans. Empty words. Their credibility was shattered. They'd taken Americans, demanded $50 million, got $0, and lost 20 members. Other cartels took notice. Kidnapping Americans brings federal response. FBI doesn't negotiate, they rescue. And when HRT arrives, your guards surrender or die. Your compound gets breached, your operations get destroyed. The cost is too high. American kidnappings by cartels dropped 70% in the following year. The message was clear. Take Americans, face overwhelming federal force. No ransoms, no negotiations, just elite operators extracting hostages and destroying your organization. The 12 students returned to normal lives. Some struggled with PTSD. All were grateful. They'd been prisoners of a violent cartel, facing possible execution. Then FBI crashed through doors and rescued them. They understood what federal power means. Commander Mitchell received commendations. Her team's performance was flawless. 6-minute assault, 0 casualties, 12 hostages rescued, 21 cartel members captured, textbook execution. The operation became training material at HRT, how to conduct international hostage rescue, how to coordinate with foreign law enforcement, how to breach hardened targets, how to extract under pressure. Operation Guardian Angel was the model. The captured cartel members provided intelligence, names of leadership, locations of other operations, communication methods. Their interrogations led to dozens of additional arrests. The kidnapping operation had been part of a larger network. Mexican authorities dismantled it completely. The cartel's leadership went into hiding. Mexican and American law enforcement hunted them. Within months, most were captured or killed. The organization's kidnapping branch was destroyed. Their reputation was shattered. Taking Americans was now seen as suicide within cartel culture. Should all cartels who kidnap Americans face military-style responses? Comment yes or no. FBI's policy remained absolute. No ransom payments, ever. The Guardian Angel operation proved the policy works. Aggressive rescue, international cooperation, elite operators, overwhelming force. These save hostages. Paying ransoms funds terrorists and encourages more kidnappings. The Mexican government praised the operation. American-Mexican cooperation at its finest. Information sharing, joint operations, mutual respect. The rescue strengthened law enforcement relationships between both countries. American Embassy updated travel warnings, but also emphasized, if Americans are kidnapped, FBI will respond. Resources will be deployed. Rescues will be attempted. The US government doesn't abandon its citizens. The students spoke at a press conference weeks later, thanking FBI, thanking Mexican forces, describing the rescue, the doors exploding inward, operators in tactical gear, being freed from bindings, carried to helicopters, knowing they were safe, federal power saving their lives. "We made a stupid decision going into dangerous territory," one student said. "But our government didn't abandon us. FBI risked their lives to bring us home. We'll never forget that." The families of the students established a fund, supporting FBI families, honoring the operators who risked everything. Federal agents don't seek recognition, but the families wanted to show gratitude. The cartel members captured faced decades in Mexican prisons. Some were extradited to US to face federal kidnapping charges. Life sentences guaranteed. The cost of taking Americans was permanent imprisonment. The JNGC's reputation never recovered. They tried to establish kidnapping Americans as a business model. $50 million seemed like easy money. They got $0, lost dozens of members, destroyed their credibility, and triggered massive law enforcement response. Other criminal organizations learned the lesson. Americans are protected. FBI has global reach. HRT can operate anywhere. Mexican cooperation is strong. The risk-reward calculation is clear. Don't take Americans. The cost is too high. Operation Guardian Angel proved that federal power has no geographical limits. When American lives are at stake, borders are suggestions. FBI will coordinate with foreign governments, will deploy elite operators, will conduct military-style rescues, and will punish anyone who threatens U.S. citizens. This is what happens when cartels take hostages. This is what FBI HRT does when deployed internationally. This is why Americans are the worst possible kidnapping targets, because federal power responds overwhelmingly. You can be in cartel territory. You can have fortified compounds. You can have armed guards. You can threaten to kill hostages. None of it stops HRT. They'll fly across borders, breach your defenses, eliminate your guards, rescue hostages, extract in minutes, and leave your operation in ruins. The cartel learned this the hard way. 12 hostages taken, 50 million demanded, 0 paid, 6 minutes of HRT assault, 12 Americans rescued, 21 cartel members captured, complete tactical victory. Because when Americans are held hostage, there are no negotiations, no compromises, no ransoms, just elite federal operators executing perfect rescues and destroying criminal organizations. This is SWAT power, where hostages get rescued, where cartels learn painful lessons, where HRT demonstrates why they're the premier hostage rescue force in the world, where American lives are protected by overwhelming federal force. The answer to the quiz? All three matter, but speed is critical. Intelligence identifies the target. Firepower provides security, but speed prevents hostages from being killed during rescue. HRT trains for rapid execution because seconds determine life or death. Should FBI HRT be deployed for all international American hostage situations? Do you support military-style rescues over ransom negotiations? Which element of the operation impressed you most? Comment below. Like if you support FBI hostage rescue operations. Subscribe to SWAT Power, where federal operators cross borders, breach compounds, and rescue Americans from anyone, anywhere, anytime. Because when American lives are at stake, federal power has no limits. SWAT Power, international reach, perfect execution, American lives protected, every single time.